This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Watch us fight all through the night, deep in the heart of Texas. The trailer park is nice and dark, deep in the heart of Texas. That drinks his brew and he spits his chew, deep in the heart of Texas. The TV blares, but no one cares, deep in the heart of Texas. Here we go!
Hey there,
Hey.
what's up? Welcome to King of the Hill podcast. I am Mike.
And I'm Rusty.
Rusty, we are here for a That Ain't Right Friday.
It ain't right, and
ain't
it
right.
is Friday.
It ain't right. So what we're doing today, we're getting back into the swing of it. Rusty's getting over being sick and all that stuff.
Yep.
We've got the New Year's started. We're past the holidays, which is freaking excellent as far as I'm concerned. I love the holidays, don't get me wrong, but I'm glad when they're over because then we can get back into the actual rut of living our lives, which I am not opposed to a good rut. Today we are doing 6 ways King of the Hill remains relevant today.
Yep.
This was, as of this recording, it was published 7 days ago by Marissa Manuel on the website MovieWeb.
Which is a blog.
You know, the
blog
big
site.
movie web. It says, adult cartoon King of the Hill focuses on Hank Hill and no-nonsense propane accessory salesman living in Arlen, Texas. The new one is set to premiere in early 2025. It looks to modernize the series, hopefully not. But in many ways, the original is already very relevant to modern-day audiences. While the upcoming version will take place closer to present-day America, which it's not, and I like that, the original focuses on political, cultural, and familial issues that continue to resonate with both new and old viewers. As we await the new series, these are just some of the reasons why the first King of the Hill is still so good today. Number 6. It still reflects American cultural and political dynamics.
I'll agree with that.
I think that is super true.
I'll agree with that. There's a lot of left and right, and a lot of
Yep.
sexuality, religion, race. You see. I think one of the funniest things is when they're meeting Khan for the first time, and Hank's dad rolls up. And he's like, oh, he's Japanese. And he's like, no, he's not. You're Laotian, aren't you, Mr. Khan? Like, he knows, he's that racist that he knows exactly
Yeah.
what
Oh, yeah.
what his ethnicity is.
So it mentions a few episodes in here. It says King of the Hill didn't shy away from political episodes such as The Perils of Polling, in which Luann registers to vote for a communist, and
Yep.
Hank is horrified to learn that Governor George Bush has a weak handshake. That's one that we bring up a lot.
I think that one's funny, yeah.
Additionally, in the episode Dale to the Chief, Dale is forced to confront the possibility that the U.S. government was right about the John F. Kennedy assassination, which leads him to turn over a patriotic new leaf. We have not gotten to that one yet.
We haven't gotten that far yet. I think that's, I want to say that's in this season.
And then
No, it's in season 9.
And then it says other episodes also focused on most cultural topics regarding sexuality, religion, race, such as My Own Private Idaho Rodeo,
Which is the one where they
Dale's
meet Dale's
dad,
dad,
right?
who's
Yeah.
gay.
Church hopping, which has a lot to do with religion.
Which is when the female preacher comes to the church and Hank's like, should females be preaching kind of thing. And then My Racist Dog, which is the Bernie Mac episode where Hank thinks that Lady Bird potentially could be racist towards the black handyman, but it ends up being the fact that it's just that he's a handyman, that she has a problem because Hank doesn't like people fixing his things that he can't fix.
Yeah, that's right. And then the last one being Racist Dog, which I don't really.
That's
That's the one you're talking about.
That's the one I just talked about. Yeah.
Learning
That was Bernie Mac's episode.
It says, although largely Republican, Hank shows an openness to learn and embrace other viewpoints, which we have mentioned many times.
Which sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're
I
fine.
really think that it was great that they had Bernie Mac on the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's not somebody you would typically think would do a voice acting for a show like King of the Hill.
No, you wouldn't think
But
so.
he came in and no. Church hopping is when Hank gets mad about seating.
Oh, that's right.
I was wrong. It was about
right.
the
He goes
seating,
to
and he ends up
different
going to
churches.
different
Yeah,
churches
things
because
like
he
him.
wants to sit in a specific seat.
So this says, although largely Republican, he's open. Largely true of the others on the show as well, at least when it comes to important issues, such as Dale, who has no problems with his dad being gay. Rather than encourage any singular viewpoint on these topics, the show portrays and dismantles political stereotypes, then has the characters center humanity as they attempt to better understand one another. That is something that we have brought up many, many times. And when people think of King of the Hill, they think of it as this backwater
It's really not.
red state kind of thing, and it is not.
Everybody
It
tries
is
to put it
furthest
in the
from
bubble of, Hank would vote for Trump and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but
it's bullshit.
I don't know that he would or wouldn't.
I don't think he would.
I just don't think you could put that show inside of that bubble.
I think
It's
once he heard him
a
on
big show.
that bus talking about grabbing him by the whatever,
Yeah,
I
that
think
might,
Hank would have been
that
like,
might be
"There's no
enough
way,
for him."
there's no way I'm voting for this guy."
But I feel like the show like transcends one political.
It does. It really does.
It's not anywhere on the spectrum. It is like the whole. It encompasses all of it.
So it says number 5. It's bizarre yet realistic tone. King of the Hill doesn't hold back when it comes to zany antics, but it also tempers these scenes with real and relatable moments. From Dale having no idea he wasn't Joseph's biological father to Cotton's death. Cotton's death was a big deal.
Yeah.
These scenarios are highly memorable and based in reality. At the same time, the circumstances surrounding these issues, such as Dale thinking Nancy was impregnated by aliens or Cotton basically dying out of spite, add an entertaining twist. There is a precise formula here. It says King of the Hill's relatable yet bizarre formula didn't always land. For example, in the episode Pygmalion, which is one that everybody brings up, Luann is courted by a man named Trip, only to realize he's obsessed with her due to her resemblance to a woman from an ad for his company.
Very dark episode.
He later dyes her hair, dons a pig suit, and asks her to marry him. Horrified, she runs away, which leads to a bizarre chase that ends with Trip being impaled and presumably turned into a sausage.
Which is the dark.
It is
it's
a
really dark
dark-ass episode. But I like it because of that. I think it's
I like
so
it. I
different
like it.
from everything else.
I wonder what episode it's in.
All right, while you're looking at that,
Or
I'm going to go to number
season.
4. It has-
Season 7, episode 9. So
okay,
we're
so it's coming up.
4 away from it now. Yeah.
I can't wait to cover that.
Yeah, I
It's gonna
like
be
that
fun.
one. Yeah, I can't wait to get on that one too.
Number 4, it has great characters. This is absolutely true. King of the Hill's
Well-rounded, yeah.
well known for its characters, from Hank's son Bobby, who ain't right, to his wife Peggy, who is good at is as good at Spanish as she is as most everything else.
Which is not that good. Yeah.
The characters were often the focus of character-driven narratives that explored who they were, what they wanted, and what they believed. Always enjoyable, usually likable, and it's hard not to think back on these characters fondly and want to see more of them. Old faces, new narratives. It'll be exciting to see how these characters have evolved in King of the Hill reboot, but for now, it's more than exciting enough to look back on Hank and Bobby's relationship, Dale's conspiracy theories, and Peggy's hilarious escapades. Also, Peggy is an ass. Number 3, it can be genuinely touching. This is something we bring up all the time. Like the last episode we did. We just
it was a
brought that
touching
up.
episode.
It's always touching.
Yeah. It was a good episode. It was a good, Lady Bird's getting old, and a good episode of Hank bonding with his dog.
It says it can be over the top at times, of course, because it's an adult cartoon. King of the Hill knew how to deliver some touching, heartwarming scenes. For instance, in the episode Pretty Pretty Dresses, Hank helps Bill overcome his ex-wife's absence, and in the Peggy Horror Picture Show, a drag queen helps Peggy learn to feel beautiful. Plus, at the end of the series, Hank and Bobby bond over burgers, showing their love for each other is stronger than any differences. We have not done Pretty Pretty Dresses yet either, right? That's the one where Bill goes nuts and starts putting on Lenore's dresses?
No, we did that one.
We did
Season
do that
3.
one?
That was
Okay.
season 3.
Okay.
That was a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that's see, and to me,
Couple years ago.
that's a dark episode also.
Yeah, it's kind of dark.
I mean, nobody gets turned into a sausage, but still, I think it's a dark episode.
I think it's a dark episode because it really
Bill
dives
snaps.
into Bill's sadness really deep. Bill is so sad that he dresses up as his ex-wife and pretends to be her.
It's honestly kind of
That
psychosis is
that
what
is
he's got. You know?
really deeply disturbing.
I mean, hell,
yeah.
Psycho, that's all it's about. You know, is
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So
Yeah, that's
it could
exactly
be
what it's
that.
about. Yeah, it's a guy
Uh,
pretending to be something that he's
that's it.
eventually not. Yeah.
Says, in addition to the scenes above, many episodes focused on familial bonds and how family was the most important thing. That is absolutely 100% true. Hank's love for his dog Ladybird in the episode Texas City Twister. Hank tried to save Luann from a tornado. That's the one where he's naked hanging from the pole. Plus,
That's a good one.
Plus, numerous episodes involved him and Peggy supporting each other, whether that meant showing up for Peggy's Boggle tournament, which he finally did, or helping Hank through his unmentionable medical problem.
Yeah, his narrow urethra.
Narrow urethra.
Well, actually, she's there for a couple of medical. His narrow urethra and his long back disease.
Well, and his he has the is it the narrow urethra episode where he has the colonoscopy? Because she's there for that also, like watching it. She thinks it's great.
I think
she's
it's that
watching
episode, maybe.
All right, number 2, it strikes just the right comedic balance. This is absolutely true. Most, and I would say 90% of King of the Hill episodes strike the right balance, where it's comedy, sweetness, weirdness. You know, it hits all of those things.
Yeah, no, that's what I like about the show the most is that it is a comedy show at its core, but it touches on so many different elements, you know, of like real life.
Says, although tender and thought-provoking, King of the Hill is first and foremost a comedy. And just like with everything else on this list, it delivers on what it's set out to do, from Bobby learning to fend off bullies through a woman's self-defense class. That's my purse. Hank being mistaken for a pimp. It's hard to find an episode that isn't funny. Better yet, the comedy is often subtle and understated, which I thought the dog one we just did, the dog dancing one, was very subtle. But it also knows when to go all out, like in the episode "A Firefighting We Will Go." That is the one. Oh yeah, you're right.
Season
Black
3,
Ant says
episode 10.
it's the unmentionable problem, which is where he's constipated. I forgot all about that. Yeah, but that's exactly.
Yeah,
what
I forgot
is.
about
It's
that
the
too.
constipation issue. All right, and it says, of course, comedy is highly subjective. Absolutely. And not every joke will land with every viewer. However, it seems undeniable that there's an episode for most audience members. There's not an episode for most audience members. And the show isn't shy about poking fun at any and all topics, but in an even-handed, humorous way. The writing is fantastic, by the way.
The writing for the whole show is
writing is
fantastic.
fantastic.
So if you're a writer for King of the Hill and you're listening to this,
Oh, my God.
we would love
You were
to
so
chat
great.
with you about the writing of the show.
Yeah.
I reached out to a writer.
Oh, yeah?
What's his name? Hold on just a second. I think his name is
Bob Johnson.
Michael
Bob Johnson.
Yeah, Michael Jamin.
Michael Jamin Bob Johnson.
Jamin. Michael Jamin. He often is advertising his book on writing on
Okay.
social media.
Okay.
And I've reached out to him a few times with no success,
book.
but I would love to chat with him or any writer, really. I would love to.
Send me a link to his book. I would love to.
Yeah. I'll send you a link to it.
All right, and then number 1, see how it relates to other animated comedies, both from before and after. So many other cartoons have been inspired by King of the Hill. Boy, ain't that the truth. While they're not technically part of the same universe, watching all of them does offer viewers a more complete experience. For example, The Good Family, that's with an E,
That one was directly influenced by it, yeah.
is in many ways the opposite of King of the Hill. We talked about that. While the latter satirizes more conservative views and lifestyles, the former critiques more liberal ones. Additionally, Bob's Burgers, often considered a spiritual successor to the show, might not have come into being without it. And I absolutely believe that.
I've never heard that take before.
Well, I'm just saying, without King of the Hill, I don't think you'd have Family Guy. I don't think you'd have Bob's Burgers. I don't think you'd have any of those big shows, because they did kind of cash in on a formula, which is the sweetness part of it. Family Guy maybe not, but joke, and just the popularity of adult animation. Honestly,
The Middle.
You know, without The Simpsons and without King of the Hill, I don't know that you'd have all these other shows. As the new version of King of the Hill releases, it seems inarguable that the series will continue to shape animated sitcoms. Already, it's left a huge impression, and while the new version might be more modern, the original will forever remain timeless. And boy, do I believe in that.
Yeah, the Family Guy in the beginning, I feel like. The first 3 seasons of Family Guy, but after
Black
that,
Ant
it
said
just
it had some
became
sweetness,
absolutely
at least in the beginning.
ridiculous. Yeah.
And then it just became insane.
It just became literally it's just gag after gag after gag. It's not really any story or anything.
Yeah.
Whenever
tired
they
of watching
took away, whenever they took Stewie from being like this baby who was set out to kill his mother and turned him into this metrosexual, homosexual, whatever. Like, it was just really weird, the transition.
Like I've said before, the episode where Stewie and Brian go into the past to fight Nazis, that was my last one.
That was it for you, huh?
I was done.
I don't
Wasn't
watch
the same show.
I don't watch it anymore.
Wasn't the same show.
I do appreciate some of the Conway Twitty cutscenes.
Oh, sure. Oh, there's some great jokes in it.
Yeah.
Great jokes, but
it's just jokes.
It's just all jokes now.
Yeah, it's just
not,
joke.
There's no real script.
No
it's
story.
all jokes.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us on a That Ain't Right Friday. We always love seeing you. Thank for you guys that stuck around from the Monday episode to the Friday
appreciate
episode.
You guys.
Thanks for sticking around in the chat room. Black Ant, Artie, of course. We had Gary Yap here.
Yap.
We had
Rusty Shackelford.
My
buddy
Nod.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out.
Had a lot of people here, and we thank you for joining us. You want to tell them where they can find us?
You could find us on social media at BWAAAKOTH. That's anywhere there's a social media. You can find us on Threads and Scoops and everywhere else. And if you could go check all those out, follow us on all those. If you could also like and subscribe this video and subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell, we'd appreciate that too. So there you go.
Smash that button. All right, guys. Thank you again for joining us. We love you all. Thank you. And we will be back on Monday. And there's just one thing left to say.
Oui, Matanye.
Oui, Matanye, indeed. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.